Hope you're having a fantastic week, fantastic weekend. It's March 16th, 2024, coming at you right before St. Patty's Day. I wanted to talk to you today about two things I've noticed seem to be missing from most players, regardless of level. And it's kind of in the title, two things that you can do to improve your trumpet high notes and your efficiency. Okay, what are the two things that you're probably not doing? You're probably playing on a small mouthpiece into a medium, large, or medium bore horn, or you're probably playing on a large mouthpiece in a medium, large to a large bore horn. That's extremely inefficient for most trumpet playing that we have to do. Now, there are times when you might want to do that. For example, orchestral players, because they're playing on a C trumpet, which is smaller than a B flat, maybe they might want to, play on a slightly larger, medium large bore or a large bore. But most oftentimes their go-to trumpet mouthpiece is the venerable Bach 1.5C, or the venerable Bach 1.25 C. And then some play on the 3C or the 5C. So that's really an inefficient mix for what we want to do outside of orchestral playing. So strategy number one, tip number one for all trumpet players, you're going to get the best bang for your buck and the most efficient time on the horn if you can do that old cliche saying, opposites attract. So small into large or large into small. Let me give you an example. I play on a very, very shallow mouthpiece, and the backbore is pretty large. I had John Schnell at Bob Reeves bore it out at the end of last year. So it's got some breathing room in it, but the mouthpiece relative to the cup and everything is very wide. It's actually about as wide as a Bach 1, which is wider than a Bach 1.5C, but it's very shallow. And I found that the horns that have the largest bores, I get the best sound on, and I have the best efficiency, and I actually have the best range. Now go figure that. Playing on the largest bore horn would give you better range. Doesn't make sense, does it? Unless you're being efficient. You're going small into large. In my case, a small, or not really a small mouthpiece, a shallow mouthpiece into a very large bore trumpet. Now, before it was stolen, I had the Claude Gordon Benge 1979 trumpet, which is a .468. And then Claude had a special twist on it where he choked it at the bell insert into the first valve slide. So he choked it. I think the choking point was .464. So that was a very efficient horn. In fact, if you watch some of the videos right before I got that horn in 2020 and before, and I got that horn in 2021, you'll notice my sound improves about 50 or 60%. I'm just able to blow through it. And what was happening before, actually what's happening now, since that horn is stolen while I'm waiting to get another horn that I actually can play, is I'm overblowing most of the medium, large, and smaller large bore horns. The one I'm on now is this hybrid Stomvy brass Bob Reeves prototype that was built back in 2002. And I just overblow that horn and I can't get a full sound. Sometimes I overblow it, and it's like when you hold the accelerator down on a 4-cylinder, car or truck, it kind of goes, when it's about 5,000 RPMs. That's kind of what happens to me. And you can go back, if you had time to kill, and watch some of my previous videos before 2021. You'll hear a difference. Now, I'm the same player. Nothing has changed about that, but it's the horn. I'm overblowing the horn. So anyway, I'm hoping to get the Shilkey X4 because I've heard so many things good about it. Most players say that that's even better than the Claude Gordon Benge that I was on. It's even a larger bore. So we're going to see if I get one of those. I got a new one on order with Trumpet Champions, but damn thing's not going to come in until next year. Can you believe it? Man, the wait list for that is crazy. So, but I'm looking at a used one that I may get in. So I'll let you know how that goes. And you should notice right away if I put my mouthpiece into that Shilky X4 that my sound and tone improved like overnight, just because I'm able to blow through it with the equipment that I'm using, the smaller mouthpiece. So that's one tip for you guys. If you're playing on a 3C or a 5C or a 1.5C into the typical Bach Strat 37 bell, or it doesn't really even matter, 72 bell, 43 bell, doesn't matter. You're just not going to be playing that well above high C. You're not going to be playing that efficient. And when I say efficient, what I really mean is you're going to gas out. You're not going to have the endurance to finish your rehearsals. You're not going to be able to play, for example, a wedding reception that goes 4 sets, 45 minutes each, and finishes at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. You're not going to be able to do that because that horn and that combination is going to gas you out. So what would I do if now I don't really care for the Bach 37 Strad because, well, number one, it's just not, it doesn't fit with the style of playing that I do. But if you were playing in a concert band or a brass quintet, yeah, you're probably okay with it. You're probably doing pretty good. So if I was on a Bach Strad and didn't do all the playing that I do, I would want to move up to something like a 7E or perhaps a 7D. Or if I needed something a little bit wider and I love the 3C, you can do this, go right to the 3D or the 3E. Just that switch alone, if you're playing the Bach Strad, is going to give you more power, better range, more efficiency, and yes, longer lasting endurance. So yeah, if I was just playing orchestral stuff, concert band, wind ensemble, marches, kind of lower tier Broadway stuff, or if I played an old-timey big band and I played third trumpet, something like that, and I had my old trusty Bach 37 bell Strad, yes, I would want to move to the D or E cup. And depending on your lip setup, you'd want to move from a 3C to maybe like a 5D or a 5E. Or if you're used to a 5C, maybe you want to move up to a 7D or 7E, something like that. You're going to notice an immediate result. This is not something that you have to spend 6 months to find out. You're going to notice an immediate result, typically on your tone. It's going to have more brilliance to it, more brassiness. And you're going to notice that when you get to the end of the rehearsal, your chops are going to feel so fresh. It's just like you don't want to stop playing. Like, hey, let's do another song. Or I want to do that song before we, finish up. Something like that. That's how you're going to feel. So that's the number one big tip that you can try right away. It will change your playing right away. What's the second tip? I've noticed, and this seems to be common with most brass players, that actually have developed a good range, endurance, and power, but they still have trouble when they're playing for real, not on their couch and not in their bedroom or in their basement, but when they're at a rehearsal or a performance, they end up having a lot of trouble. And the reason that is because of this. The throat and what goes down your throat, your tongue goes all the way down your throat. Not all the way, but it goes down a good portion. There is a lot of pressure that's happening when you start playing above high C and you start playing MF or louder. And that pressure is contained at your throat because there's a bottleneck here. Think about it. The air goes straight up and then it's got to make a 90-degree turn and come right out your mouth. That means that there's a bottleneck squeeze right there, which puts a tremendous amount of pressure on your throat and your neck. So the reason that you're not able to get and garner a lot of power when you go to rehearsals and performances and gigs is because you're playing a lot louder and using a lot more force, and that ends up having the compression effect here, which expands on your throat, your larynx, and everything in here and up into your mouth. Now that wears you out and also is painful. You can kind of feel it if you're not used to it. So the second tip here in this live video is you actually have to develop resilience and toughness in your throat to accommodate that type of compression. And so you have to practice at home sometimes a little bit louder than maybe you want. Now, I'm a firm believer in practicing soft more than loud, but you do have to condition your throat. And so this is something that I've noticed most people haven't thought about. Your throat will hurt you really bad if you're playing double G's to double C's like I do. And if you're not used to it, you could have the chops up here. Hold on a second. I got someone trying to beep in on me. 1 second. Sorry, guys. There we go. You could have the chops up here, the lip strength, everything, the right technique, the right breathing for compression. But if you're not used to on a regular basis conditioning your throat and your tongue for that type of playing, you're not going to be able to do too well at it because you're going to get sore and you might even experience some pain. It's going to stop you from playing with the most amount of power. So you need to condition yourself. It's not enough just to have chops, lip strength, embouchure strength, and the right technique. You actually have to condition yourself to playing in the upper register above high C. So just hitting it a couple times per day and doing everything else that's not high is not going to do it for you. You're going to have to at least every other day, and I would say probably the least frequency would be every 2 days. Go after some high notes, maybe put on some headphones. I do that a lot. It's the ones I use to record with. I'll just put them on. I don't plug it into anything. I put them on and I'll go into a closet and just blow as hard as I can and as high as I can for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not trying to make music. I'm trying to condition and ready my throat for very tough situations of playing above high C, whether that be lead trumpet or whether that would be some Broadway stuff that you have to do, or maybe you're a jazz trumpet player who likes to go up in the upper register and put a little sparkle on your solos. So you're going to have to do that. Now, every day, if you could touch on it for 5 minutes, that would be best. But every other day, maybe 10 minutes, and maybe just twice a week or something like that, every 2 days, 10 to 15 minutes of really hard blowing. It's kind of obnoxious, and that's why I recommend you put your earphones on, or you could even put some, or not earphones, your headphones on, or you can even put in some earplugs. But you're doing this. This is not a musical endeavor that you're doing. This is a physical endeavor to condition your throat. This will also build more confidence for when you're in public or on stage or doing a gig or even at a rehearsal. You're just going to feel a little tougher, a little stronger, and it's going to be from here all the way up into your mouth. Now, once it gets into your oral cavity, that's not really a factor because I'm talking to people that have already conditioned your chops. So this is for people that have already achieved moderate to pretty decent success in the upper register with their strength and their power and everything. So you're already going to have this part taken care of. You know, all the muscles in your face and your lips. It's at your throat and right down below is where you probably haven't worked on, and that's probably holding you back. So this is a live stream from moi, Kurt Thompson, in lovable and the incomparable Waco, Texas area, aka Central Texas. And for those of you who, I get some people that pronounce Waco wrong when they speak to me or in a lesson or coaching, they'll call it wacko. So that made me think some of you don't know where Waco is. Waco is smack dab between Dallas and Austin. I know once I say that, probably almost all of you recognize Dallas, and a good portion of you might know Austin. So Waco is about midway between Dallas and Austin. And that's where this video is coming from. Don't forget to go to Trumpetsizzle.com. I got a plethora of things to help you out as a brass player. I think most of them you're going to really love. They're interesting. They're fun to do. There's challenges. So I'm talking about my courses. There's a variety of courses. If you already got great chops, well, why not polish up your style with my lead trumpet course? If you already have great style, how about improve your finger technique and flexibility with my Herbert L. Clark course? Speaking of flexibility, you should check out my new book, Volume 2, Thompson Flexibility Studies, Volume 2. I guarantee almost all of you are going to have some challenge in that book. Especially that book requires you to follow the metronome guides for each exercise. An exercise might have 4, 5, 6 renditions with different metronome markings, and that's not in there randomly. I put that there on purpose. So you're supposed to follow those guides for the metronome. And there's some tough stuff in there. So there's some stuff in there that would make even a professional blink if you put the metronome on at the certain speeds. And then I have a really cool section at the end of that book called Off the Horn Techniques. So this would involve lip buzzing, mouthpiece buzzing, rim buzzing, lead pipe buzzing, and some cool exercises you can do with that. So for most of you watching, I do believe Volume 2 for intermediate players. Don't let that name fool you, because there's some tough stuff in there. So Volume 2, you might want to check it out. There should be a link in the description, or if not, maybe I've tagged that book in this video. And then plenty of practice devices, including the lead pipe, including the rim, and a bunch of other stuff that will make you better. And of course, trumpet lessons, brass coaching. Even if you're a trombone player, you still have to deal with the embouchure and the chops, and that's something that I help all brass players with. So right before St. Patty's Day 2024, yeah, I'm still alive and kicking. I got a lot of irons in the fire in addition to trumpet. Still trying to get the Trumpet Champions thing going. I got some backing tracks ready. But of course, there's always a fly in the ointment. I'm trying to find the right sound person, live sound person. And I found out that just because you have an audio engineering degree doesn't mean you can do live sound. So there's always a challenge when it comes to Trumpet Champions. So I'm still working on it. Just wanted to give you that update on Trumpet Champions. I haven't given up. I'm working on it. In fact, you probably remember from last year, I run some side hustles, and I'm looking at doing a little bit of real estate investing. And I probably would just either donate or loan or make a loan to Trumpet Champions. That's probably what I'll do. I'll make a loan. If I get a decent chunk of money, I'll loan Trumpet Champions that money to enable some of the performances, because it's my goal this year to do at least a couple of performances, even if it's by myself in a backing track. But I have to get the right sound person so it'll sound good. And of course, I wouldn't do it on the horn that I'm on now, which you just can watch some of my past videos with that horn. Recently, it just doesn't sound that good. I'm overblowing it, and it's just that horn is past its useful life. I believe it needs to be totally overhauled. The valves are constantly sticking. It just needs a total overhaul. I'm not going to do that on the horn. I want to invest that money into a better horn like the Schilke X4. So that's what's going on here. And what else? Anyway, take to heart these two topics that I talked about today almost instantaneously, especially if you can figure out and dial in the right combination for the equipment that you play on. But you don't have to practice 6 months. You're going to notice it right away within a day or two. It may involve you getting a different mouthpiece, probably will, or it may involve you opting for a better horn. So you may have to think outside of the box. You may end up having to spend some money to accommodate this. So what else? I think that's about it, guys. Do I have any dogs nearby? Yeah, I think I do. I got Luna there. Oh, Luna, you know your name, don't you? And I got one of the little puppies over there. Colette. There she is. Colette. Look at my cute little Colette. That's one of the little puppies from 2022. And there they are. So you probably have noticed in the last couple of years, it seems like I always got some puppies or some dogs hanging around me. And that is the case. So it's Kurt Thompson, over and out, Trumpetsizle.com. I will catch you in the next video, my friend. This has been a live video. I don't do too many live videos. This has been a live one. And if you had time to kill today and patience and were able to make it all the way through this 20-minute video, this live stream, then congrats. I'm sure that you got something of value if you watched the whole video. I'll see you in the next one. Probably won't be a live video, probably something else. Take care. Bye-bye. And let me figure out how to shut this off here. Let's see here. Boop. There we go.